Welcome to the David Spisak Show. I've got something very different for you, obviously. You guys normally see me, obviously, in my studio behind the desk, lamps glowing, obviously super professional, suited up typically. And today I got a completely different vibe because, and I don't know, for many of you that listen to this podcast, you may not know this, but this originally started as a heavily focused podcast on entrepreneurs. And each episode, what I was really looking for was to dig into not just the stories, but I wanted to know the backstory about the person and about how something came about. And most of all, I was always interested in the defining moments. Well, I've got something super interesting for you today because I'm sitting next to Steven Fang, and Steven is the owner of, you can't see this yet, but as we move along, we're going to stand up and I'm going to have the camera pan out. This is an entire city block that's completely alive. So, Steven, I want to start with this. First and foremost, thank you for giving me your time. Thanks for allowing me to come into your house. So, and it's crazy. How long ago did we meet originally? Year and a half ago?
Just about.
Yeah. So we're sitting downstairs from our office. There's a wonderful place, Zapito Thai restaurant is absolutely hands down the best Thai food in all of Portland. And some of the best Thai food I've ever had anywhere. I'm sitting there with my team, minding my own business, and I happen to overhear a conversation, and all I hear is people talking about wine. Cheers. Cheers. And, we're partners in a winery, and as many of you may know, I'm also partners in the MENA group, where we have about 35 four-star and five-star restaurants. I love culinary, I love hospitality, I love food, but mostly I love entrepreneurs and the stories. Back then, when we first met, you had shared with me this vision. You had this plan, this vision to do something nobody had ever done before. And now we're sitting in that vision. How does that make you feel?
It feels surreal. It feels like I've still got more work to do, like any good entrepreneur. The work is never finished.
It's never done. You're right. So let's go back to this. Let's start here. So can you give people a little bit of your background?
Sure. I was originally born in China in a city called Chengdu. It's known for the panda bears. It's known for the spicy food. I grew up there, and then my family decided to uproot and move to New York, which was very different. We moved to a town by the name of Roslyn in Long Island.
Yeah, Long Island. That's a culture shock.
Yeah, it's about 70% Jewish, 30% black. And I had to learn very quickly. I didn't have a lot of time. And from there, we moved over to Portland because
Makes sense. Chengdu, New York, Portland.
Well, get this. So my aunt and uncle lived here. My uncle is a professor here locally at Portland State University, and my cousin was just a brilliant student at the time. And my parents wanted me to be around some good influence. So, she ended up going on to graduate Stanford at 17, and she's actually now
Graduated Stanford University
at 17.
At 17 years old.
Went on, I believe, did investment banking, and she is now the CFO at Meta.
Wow.
Next to, those.
I just got the chills. So I'm going to rewind that. Whether you're watching this on video, and by the way, we're in this spectacular place in downtown Portland, inside the Ritz-Carlton Hotel. But if you're listening, this is mind-blowing. So how smart, how wise it is that your parents had the foresight and the wisdom to say, listen, you become who you're surrounded with. Ultimately, we know that, right? The great Jim Rohn used to say, you become a kind of the average of the 5 people you hang out with. Well, they were stacking the deck. I mean, you hang out with your cousin,
yes,
who was so smart that she ended up going to Stanford at the ripe old age of 13 or 14, graduated at 17, and she's now, again, the CFO of a little company in the Mag 7 called Meta. Wow. Yeah.
It's incredible. So then since then, I've always, Portland has become my home, and I've traveled internationally. As I've done different businesses in China, in parts of Asia, in the Middle East. and I lived all over the world. I lived, in Vancouver, BC, Los Angeles, the Bay Area, obviously, different parts of Asia. And I've always come back to Portland because in my heart, this is the place I love. And this is the place.
What is it that you love about Portland? Portland gets such a bad rap, and there's so many misunderstandings because as always, the media portrays what the media wants to portray. And yeah, there was 100 days of protests, and don't get me wrong, there was some nonsense going on. But tell me, what do you love about Portland?
So I have to go back to my experience of coming to the United States. And I mean, you've been to the East Coast, and you know what it's like. When I first went to New York in Rossman, right, I had to toughen up real quick. A kid coming from a completely different culture, didn't speak the language. It was a culture shock, and people, it's a different vibe, right? People don't make eye contacts. You don't really talk to strangers. Everyone's, like you're always in fight mode. Seems like, right? It's very intense. And when I came to here, we lived in the town on Lake Oswego. When I went to school there,
Where I live.
yes, I went to school. The first day I walked into high school there, the kids I didn't know, they say, "Hey, how you doing? Are you new? Can we help you? Are you lost?" And for 3 days, I thought there was a prank being played on me. I thought I was the butt of the joke, right? And then I just come to find, well, this is kind of how the people are here. People are friendly. It's a different vibe. People are very good. And I think started out, I love the people here. I love the people that I've come to know. I love the people that I've, such as yourself, that I've become friends with, and the families that I find.
And it's come full circle because now you have kids,
I do.
right?
Yeah.
That you're exposing to Portland, and undoubtedly, the wisdom and perspective you've received from living around the world, traveling around the world, and doing business around the world. Undoubtedly, you're excited to at some point share that with them, right?
Oh, 100%. Another thing about Portland is, one thing I hate when I travel is I hate going through airports where from check-in to the terminal, it's a 45-minute walk. Like, who designed that? It makes no sense, but that's what you see in a lot of the cities, and in a lot of the cities you go, and it's very interesting, when you travel around the world to different cities, you see the same building on different continents, in different cities. It's the same building. There's the same building I've seen in Beijing, that I will see in Shanghai, that I see in, like parts of Abu Dhabi. But Portland, you don't have that. It's a smaller city, but it has everything. The lifestyle's great. The people are great. I love the outdoors.
You know what, too? You brought up the airport. Most people wouldn't know this, but I'd say there's 6 or 7 years in a row, Travel and Leisure magazine, pretty good magazine, has named Portland Airport, affectionately known as PDX, as the #1 airport in the United States of America for many reasons. Super friendly, super pets, kids, whatever. Easy to get in and out.
Yes.
You could park valet for $3 more than you pay in short-term parking. If you have an EV, they'll plug the thing in for you. And they even, at one point, I don't know if they do it anymore, you could wash the car if you wanted to.
Oh, they still.
But then you walk inside and check this out. How many times have you gone to an airport and you say, I'm hungry, I'm going to go grab a sandwich, tuna sandwich. How much is this? $16? Oh, that's reasonable. Portland actually has a law that nothing in that airport could be sold for 1 cent more than you could buy it in the city. So whatever you pay for water, sandwiches, burritos, food, shirts, is exactly what you'll pay for. That's kind of cool. It's very unique.
That is very cool. I did not know that.
All right.
It makes sense.
All right. So listen, I hipped you up to something. That's pretty good.
Yes.
All right. So now, where did the concept and the idea, I know you have partners, where did the concept, the idea for this come about?
The concept, well, this used to be the food carts, where the food carts.
Literally where we're sitting.
Yeah, this lot. This is where all the food carts were. And that's what a big part of Portland's culture, a big part of the DNA. That's what, people love about Portland. And a lot of people were sad to see the food carts go when the plan was announced to build the Ritz-Carlton. I traveled around the world. I've stayed in many Ritz-Carltons all around the world, different cities. And you know this, David, in my humble opinion, you don't just put a Ritz-Carlton in a city like Portland. When you think Portland, you don't think Ritz-Carlton in the same sentence. So in my mind, immediately I was thinking, well, how do we bridge the gap between Portland and the Ritz-Carlton? And this is what we come up with. This block stands for a food block, a whole entire block of food.
And wine.
And wine.
And beer.
And coffee.
Amazing coffee place.
Absolutely. And as part of that vision, we're able to bring, the food carts. What if we bring the food carts inside? So then you don't have to stand and wait, when it's raining, when it's snowing, you're not at the mercy of the weather. And it's turned out well.
Interestingly, for those who have been in Portland, you may know this. For those who haven't, there's a lot of things about Portland too that they've earned a reputation. So, and not what you're thinking. So Portland has a nickname of Beervana, more craft breweries than per capita than anywhere in the world. Portland is known as one of the greatest culinary cities in the country. In fact, named multiple times Washington Post #1 food city in America. Some of the most talented chefs in America are here, so much so that Top Chef spent an entire season dedicated to the city of Portland. 30 minutes from here, you have the Pinot capital of the world, and don't be mad at me, France, but some of the Pinots that are down there have actually won competitions like Domaine Serene as best white, best Pinot, and so forth. So you got wine, you got beer, you got food, right? You got this great airport, and you happen to have people that are just really genuinely kind.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So, but one more thing. No matter where you are, if you have food carts in your city, guess what? I'm literally sitting on the corner, on the spot where food carts started, right? That whole movement started. Now they're everywhere. So one of the things I love that you did here is you kind of paid an homage to those food carts that used to reside here, which is now instead this stunning Ritz-Carlton Hotel and Residence. And how did that come about?
We're involved, we had discussions with a developer and the city. I mean, it really it took a team effort to bring this vision to life. We had a lot of inputs from community leaders, a lot of input and help and support, from the city, and, in working with the development team, as well as the Ritz-Carlton. Everybody had inputs. It's a lot of, give and take, trying to find the sweet spot. And I think people see, bridging the gap between the city of Portland and the Ritz-Carlton. And I think that's what we've accomplished, with FOF.
So I want to shift to a lot of times what's the heart of the story for me, and it's the entrepreneur. And, we hear about entrepreneurialism a lot, more and more. In fact, during COVID, there was a record number of applications for new businesses. More people decided maybe this is the time. Now, from experience, being an entrepreneur is anything but easy. And starting a company and creating a meaningful, profitable company is anything but easy. You've done it multiple times. When you came up with this idea, you must have known, Steven, at the jump, that there was going to be some obstacles along the way. Were there?
Oh, absolutely.
How many times did you have an obstacle where at times you're sitting here going, what am I doing? Why did I come up with this? And how am I going to make this happen?
Well, I think, David, being such a successful entrepreneur yourself and knowing and interacting with many entrepreneurs, I think you know this. I think every entrepreneur, in one way or another, is a little bit crazy, right? I think you have to be where. I think there's a part where, and also there's another part of every entrepreneur is you see a vision, you see something that other people don't see that is there. And in your mind, there's a map of how to go from today to that reality.
Isn't that crazy?
That doesn't exist yet.
In real time, even though nothing's there. So how many times have anybody listening to this, or anybody who happens to be watching a clip, how many times have you picked up something, walked into a place, or seen something where you said, I had that idea. I had that idea 12 years ago, 20 years ago, 5 years ago. And that's amazing. The very fact that you could come up with that. But what's astonishing, what's incredible, different level, is when you have those people that are crazy enough, as Steve Jobs used to say, the ones who are crazy enough to think they could change the world are the ones that change the world. So you obviously knew from the jump, this was a little crazy. Because there's a lot of moving pieces in you, Steven. Alcohol, you had the beer, you got the wine, you got different food, different cultures. And by the way, in Austin, I don't know, I have the best filmmaker on the planet, Austin Hodai, and Austin's here with us today. And if Austin, while we're speaking, just for a moment, if you don't mind, just grab the camera and just give people who are watching this instead of listening to it. If you could just give them a peek just around the corner, because what you're seeing is a pretty good group of people right here, right? That's pretty impressive. Now I want you to kind of look. If you look down this way, this goes to the end of this entire city block. And we'll walk down here. Is that okay?
Yeah.
So we've got barbecue chicken. We just came out of the wine lounge. We got cream mamas here. If you want to get a little cream mamas, we got pan roast. Best Thai place in the city. If you come to Portland, bar none. Got to watch your step. Watch your step, Austin. And then if you want to go down this way, Austin. And by the way, did you notice there's these ginormous garage doors? So what happens when it gets a little bit nicer?
Oh, yeah. As soon as the weather temperature hits 60, these will be open.
And will there be tables outside?
There will be some speed seating, yes.
And you may even have one of these where you can have a little bit of a pop-up, right?
Absolutely. And, the thing is, FLOC, right, originally stands for food block. But we don't talk about food block as much because really we've taken on the identity of FLOC because the community needs this. When people flock together, people thrive together. And I think that's what our community needs. So we're using FLOC really as a gathering place. As you can see, people around us, young families, friends, hanging out together, co-workers. And with the street, when the weather, we have plans to do all kinds of events with night markets.
Along the street.
Yeah, like the first Thursday in the Pearl, we're gonna do FLOC Fridays there, with local artists, musicians, come through and showcase.
It's literally has transformed this. And you know what else, Steven? People would honestly think you may be a little crazy to attempt to pull this off in a city that has had so much hardship recently. And you literally, a lot of people see this and say, right in this very place, within a block or 2 blocks, there's stores that have closed down in the last 5 years, restaurants that are not here anymore. You've just completely reinvented that. And through that, if this isn't a sign that people want to get out and get together, I don't know what is. So follow me down here, Austin. Let's keep going. Tell us what's here. We have
the beer area, Plaza, and you have the owner, Horacio, with the backward black hat. And, he started from ground zero in the food truck, and now he has
the gentleman with the hat, the black hat turned backwards.
His turned backwards, yes.
He's hustling and grinding.
Oh, he's working hard. And one thing you see, David, with each of the restaurants in here, we're very conscientious in bringing together a group of operators that are going to come in and really just kick ass.
They're all in. And then right here, we're in the middle of Hong Kong.
Yeah, we are.
How'd that happen?
We're in the middle of Hong Kong, and as you see, there's street lights that mirror the street lights outside, and you can be sitting right underneath the street light and have a roasted rice bowl from Hong Kong.
I love it.
Dude, it's all part of the experience.
It's HK Bistro. Yes, spectacular place, spectacular food.
See.
And listen, I have never, ever on my podcast or any video walked into a restaurant. But I'm going to do it this time. I'll tell you why. Check this out. First of all, even the doors in here are literally a work about it, right? Pure walnut, don't even have finish on them. These things are like unbelievable. And obviously central here, but what's really interesting and unique, there's no doors. There's no door. Of course, there's a door if you're going to the restroom. That would be weird. But there's no doors on either side of the restroom, which gives people a real sense of secure little safety, right? All right, let's keep going. Now it's about to get serious. So we've gone through from one end to the other. If you pan up now, you can see that other end. And we literally, every type of food you could imagine. And now we're sitting here at, come on in. It's exactly 12:30 p.m. on a Friday afternoon. And look at the tap house. If you don't mind panning around, right, this is the tap house room. And I want to introduce you to the owner. Right, Steve. Cheers, glasses up, right?
Yeah, this is the owner, Dong, from Prime Tap House. They're at about 5 to 6 locations now, and if you want a glass of beer from any of the 28 taps or CBD water, that's my daily drink.
CBD water.
To draft cocktails. This is your guy.
Need CBD water to keep them calm and zen.
That's the secret.
Congratulations to you. This is extraordinary. So how's it been for you?
It's been great. A lot of people are still coming out to check us out and check out what we have here, and it's been wonderful. A lot of people coming out to support us.
Literally day and night. Day weekends.
A lot better doing evening, but yeah.
I love it. Well, Don, I have no doubt the best is yet to come, and I want to congratulate you.
Thank you.
She's sorted.
Thank you.
Thanks for doing us. All right, so we have one more stop. One more. We're going to wrap up. This place is a little bit of a secret, right? Not for long. But we started out at a wine bar, talking to Steven, and we're going to wrap up over here at one of the most beautiful coffee and bakeries, patisseries that you're going to see. So, tous les jours?
Tous les jours.
Tous les jours.
Fresh every day.
So, how did this concept, where did this particular place come from?
So Tous les jours has multiple locations in Portland already before coming here. We're in Beaverton, we're in Hillsborough, we're in Cappy Valley. And the idea is, for your viewers that are watching, out this door, directly to the left is the door to the Ritz-Carlton.
Yeah.
So we thought, hey, maybe there'll be hotel guests that are coming early in the morning, want some coffee, want some pastries, right? And, we have people that are just enjoying that, want a little bit of a calmer environment. And that's what we're trying to create, with Tous les jours.
And you still, just like every other place along this entire city block, another massive glass garage door. And I love that it's glass, Steven, because it allows people walking to kind of get a sense of being in.
Yeah.
And people that are inside a sense of being out.
Yes.
Right? And obviously at some point of the season, all these doors are going to be wide open, and it's going to be amazing. So as we come here towards the end of the tour and the end of the conversation, as you stand here right here and now, what is your hope for this block and all of the people that have essentially partnered with you, that have bought into the vision that you have? And not just the businesses, but the people that are coming in here to eat and drink and hang out.
Yeah.
So what's your hope?
My hope is, the first thing I learned when I first immigrated to America is that we all love a good comeback story. And Portland is a comeback story in the making. And we hope to be a big part of that. Have people show us, have people sharing the excitement, showcasing all the positives that Portland has to offer. Now, no city's gonna be perfect, no family's perfect, right? No individual is perfect. But what we can do is to highlight, and we truly believe there's way more good outweighing the problems that we see. And that's what I hope to be able to highlight at Flock.
Well, I got to tell you, I'm impressed on many levels. First of all, the fact that you came up and yet another entrepreneur came up with a vision, right? Not even from here. You're not from the United States. You're certainly not from New York, but you landed here. And number one, you got here and you made an impact, right? You're leaving this place better than you found it, which I just love that. Two, you're yet another entrepreneur story, right? Where somebody is taking on something that honestly on paper, it makes no sense. But yet it's here, it's working, and it's exploding already, and it is bringing people together. And three, you're definitely part of that Portland story where you're taking someplace that, was kind of in a downward trend, places closing, restaurants and businesses, and now all of a sudden you're part at the epicenter of it opening back up and people coming back in. And so, behalf on everybody at Portland, I'm absolutely thrilled that you're here. I couldn't be happier that I met you and that I've gotten to know you. And, you're an extraordinary human on top of being obviously an extraordinary entrepreneur. So appreciate you giving me your time.
You're very kind.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate it.
So listen, if you want to know more, first of all, if people are visiting Portland, if you live in Portland or if you're visiting Portland, tell them how to get here.
Our address is 917 Southwest Alder Street. And if that's too much to type, I think if you type in the Ritz-Carlton, it'll come up on the map and you'll just walk right around the block. You'll see signs for Flock everywhere.
I love it. Well, thank you again. For those that are listening or watching, thank you for taking the time to learn more about Steven, his vision, and what has become an incredible reality. If you want to, please take the time to share this to people that love great entrepreneur stories. Please do so. If you want to leave a review, it could be good, bad, or ugly. I love them all, and I check them all out. And I look forward to seeing you next time on the David Spisak Show. Thanks so much.